What's happening, troops? Welcome back to another episode of the Nae First Touch podcast. It is the first episode in a nice wee cushy studio, and I'm joined with a lad, Jack Robertson. How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright. You might notice that Kirsten isn't with us today. Unfortunately, COVID has struck again. She doesn't have it, thank God, but she's been caught with one of those track and trace ones.
Oh, that's a bit frustrating.
That is
indeed. It's more frustrating if it's no you. You'll know the reason that you can't date him. But oh well.
Before we get into this podcast, we do have a wee sponsor, a wee affiliate link that's going to be in the comment section below, and that's for Nostalgia Cases. I'll throw up a couple of their cases right here. If you go over and you purchase one of them, you'll be helping the channel out a hell of a lot, and you'll be helping contribute towards this, which isn't a cheap, Jack, is it?
Not at all, man. It's cheaper other times, but we go hot with the big daddy price. But it's nice.
It is. And I'm wearing my nice wee Christmas jumper as well.
I've got my champion man on.
Do you know who this is?
It's not me, is it?
It's a wee gremlin, mate. Who do you think? Who do you think would most suit that?
Griffiths.
I was going to say Johnny Hayes. But if that's Johnny Hayes, who's in his army though? Do you know what I mean? There's quite a few that could be.
He's got the same face wrinkles as Johnny Hayes.
Aye.
I get you.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I get. It's red as well for Aberdeen, so.
It's no red for Aberdeen. Come on, behave yourself, young man. Jesus Christ almighty. Let's get right into the football then, Jack.
Definitely.
The first topic that we've got on the agenda today is about the man Alfredo Morelos. He has been banned for 2 matches. What is it you call her? The compliance officer, is it Claire? She's popped him up for his forearm Hulk smash on Big Connolly. Oh my God. But firstly, Jack, I just want to get your thoughts on it, mate. What's your thoughts on it all?
It's a complicated one because I'm no angry that he's suspended because it was a red card offence, in my opinion. It's no the fact that because there's no much contact, if any, but it's the movement. You see him going for it. The thing I'm annoyed about is this has happened time and time again against Rangers, and nothing's happened. But why is it? As soon as Morelos does something, the papers are talking about it. Compliance officers get involved, and he's getting the ban. So no bothered about the ban because it might merit a ban, but because the referee's seen it, he gives a yellow card. So what are we trusting refs? Are we not trusting refs? It just seems like inconsistency as per usual for the SFA. Straight away,
mate, I was thinking that's a red card. Do you know what I mean? I'm always hesitant to say that's a red card all the time. Like, do you remember Scott Arfield's on Hearts goalie? I said that wasn't a red card. And that was common. That was serious assault, actually, to be quite honest. But at first I thought dead cert red card. You had Chris Boyd going off his nut saying definitely. It was only when you see the angle in front that you see that there actually wasn't any contact. It wasn't an elbow either. But the only thing that I think he's been done for here is the intent. The ref, for me, has definitely seen it because he gave a yellow card. But the only reason it's went to Claire White or whatever her name is because he said that his view was obstructed. So why then has he gave a yellow card?
Why has he gave the yellow in the first place?
If he's given a yellow card and he's seen it, that's his his judgment, to be fair. But
the only reason he should be given a yellow card is if he 100% think that's a yellow card offence. So if he's if he's not seen it, then how can he even give the yellow? It's like it seems to me like the pussy way out a wee bit. Like he knows something's happened. It doesn't want to give a red in case it's because if he gives a red and it's definitely no red, it looks bad on him. If he gives nothing and it's a definite red, it looks bad on him. So yellow's a kind of safe bet in his eyes, in my opinion. So he's gave the yellow thinking that might just cover my back, and then he's noticed that it should have been.
My last judgment on it is probably if he's intended to do it, which it looks like he has, it probably is a red card in these days. For me, it's soft. Like, it doesn't touch him at the end of the day, but with the way that the rules are working these days, it's a red card.
You see as well when players get touched, they make a melee.
And Big Connolly didn't need a second invite, did he, the big man, to go flying?
He went back for seconds, man.
He did indeed. And to be fair, he now will serve a 2-match ban. But what I want to ask you, is this a blessing in disguise? Because everybody talked about his performance at the weekend, and although in the recent performances leading up to it he hadn't scored, he was still contributing. At the weekend there, it looked like he was trying a wee bit too hard, in my opinion, and it just wasn't falling for him. He was still involved in a couple nice wee bits of play, but see when the bread and butter chances were falling to him, the Alfredo of last year would have buried them. This year, he's just not doing it, is he?
I think Alfredo Morelos last season would be finishing a lot, but he isn't finishing this season. And I think it is a blessing in disguise based on the fact that I've been saying for maybe the last week or two, maybe give him a wee rest, but Gerrard's not going to do that. If he's performing well in training, his attitude's right, he's going to play him. obviously the performances haven't been showing that he's the old Morelos. So the thing that I'm a wee bit like blessing in disguise is it gives it a chance to come in. Played well against Poznan, had a great performance. The goal was unbelievable. I remember when he took that on his right foot, I was like, oh, he's not, that's it. And then I see him fly in the top of the net. I was like, fair enough. So he'll get huge.
And he was brilliant that game as well. That was the first time that you were able to see Cedric Ayton play in his natural position.
Yes.
Every other game he's played in the right hand side, and when he was given opportunities, even against Falkirk, he lashed at them. He didn't look convincing in front of goal. But you've got to look at it from the point of view, if he's playing right wing, he's receiving chances in a position that for me he's not naturally used to. He should still do better. But we've seen in the Poznan game, when he's in a position that he's used to, back against a defender, he's able to turn them, get that shot away. It was brilliant and it was instinctive, and he will get his opportunity. Of course, Mac Allender messed up, wasn't it? So in the time of recording this, Rangers are actually playing versus St Mirren, but Mac Allender said it was yesterday, so that's great.
So I was telling Deb before we filmed, I was looking at the chat and I was like, Wednesday? And then I was like,
schoolboy error, Jack. That's all I can put it down to, mate.
What time we filming? 6:30. Right, how long we got? Till 8 o'clock. An hour and a half to get there, set up, film the pod, take everything back down, get up. So
I fucked it, basically.
We're missing the game, but
we might not miss a full game though if we can rattle through these. So let's get going then with the Rangers game. It was Rangers 2, Dundee United 1.
Yes.
You would think where some people are reacting in the media and such that we're beating the game, but I thought Rangers solid, mate, to be quite honest. The second half especially, Dundee United did not have a sniff. In the first half they played some nice wee bits of football. Their goal came about through a lovely move, by the way. The ball goes to Harks, puts it out left hand side, goes over Tav's head, brilliant ball, and the boy puts it in the back of the net. 9 times out of 10 I don't think he's finishing that. He looked as surprised as I was when he put it in the back of the net. But yeah, Rangers obviously went into half time at 2-1. So I need to get your thoughts on that man, James Tavernier. His free kick, mate.
My Jesus.
Talk to me. 35 yards, people are saying it was.
So I'm seeing a few people saying if a player's going to have a free kick for 35 yards, they want their keeper a bit more central. I don't care where the keeper is. That ball is going in that tap corner every single time he hits that. It was perfection. See the height and the dip, everything. I remember because I was working when we were playing Dundee United, and I'm running in the back every 2 seconds trying to get a wee glimpse of something, and I go back.
But on your phone?
Aye. My phone's in the back. I go back to look at my phone.
Right, okay. Hopefully your gaffer's not watching this, mate.
Oh, she's a subscriber.
Is she?
No.
Subscribe.
But
Angie, subscribe.
Sam. So I'm running back and forth, and 0-0 when the last time I checked. Go out, maybe 5 minutes passes, the queue's away. I jump back in, it says 1-0, and I'm like, oh, Tab, as per usual, but it doesn't say penalty. So I'm like,
what's going on here?
What's going on? Was that a tap in? Was it this? Was it that? I'm not really thinking much yet. So I go away again, and I remember come back and my group chat is popping. Every one of them, oh my god. And I'm like, must have been alright. I'm thinking more like Ramsden Cup final esque. We called for Ramsden Cup.
So even called that anymore, mate. I think it's called like carpetfitters.co.uk Cup or something. Anyway.
But I was thinking that kind of esque, maybe a volley or something. And then when I seen it as a free kick and I seen how far out it was, I was like, surely not. And it just curled right in that top corner, it was beautiful. Mate,
it was stupendous. It was a beautiful finish for the guy. I done a video in my last video actually before this, gone through his top 3 goals. I put that at number 1. The third one was the Hibs for me, and then the Ramsden's Cup.co.uk, whatever you want to call it, final was number 2. But what a finish. You've seen some people try to take it away from him. Listen, nobody's saving that. Show me a goalkeeper that is saving that and I'll show you a liar, by the way. But what was your overriding thoughts on the game then? I've kind of gave mine, but what was your thoughts on the Rangers performance coming off of the back here? Like a hard week, by the way.
See, to be honest, before the game, every game obviously I'm nervous because it's such a big season and we need to win every single game. We're playing the best football we've played in how many years, but we're still nervous going into games. I was extra nervous about this. You'll notice in previous podcasts, I've picked Dundee United to win games when they're not winning, and I'm picking them to play well. And for some reason, I've got this stigma in the back of my. Maybe it was the All Cup games I was at when the beat is like home and away and all that, and it was just
don't talk to me about it.
Just
you're giving me anxiety.
Just bad memories for them. So I was a bit nervous, and then when I'd seen they'd got any team in this league getting a goal against us is an achievement this year. So seeing them gone one each, I was like, right, on Rangers. Obviously when I went 2-1, I was a bit more calm, but I knew it'd be a tough test. I knew it would be, and it was. And Tannadice is one of the places nobody can go out and get an easy game.
I seen somebody talking about it, and they were talking about Walter Smith. I think it was on CJ's podcast, does a monthly podcast with some of the other guys, Rangers media guys. Somebody said that over the years, even Walter Smith and Graham Souness, when they went up to Tannadice, found it hard.
Aye.
It's a hard place to go, especially with fans. So the fact Rangers have went up there and they've comfortably won the game, let's be honest, in a potential banana skin. Even Dundee United haven't been playing well, but it's still up at Tannadice. Exactly, it's a hard place to go, and after the week that Rangers had, it's a brilliant result. But I do want to talk a wee bit more about James Tavernier, because we will be launching our Clips YouTube channel, and this I think should be the first clip, mate.
Okay.
James Tav, where does he rank best right backs in Britain? In Britain. We know he's number one in Scotland.
Yes,
that's a given,
that's easy.
without a doubt. But where does he rank? And when you're looking, obviously down south, the guys that stand out to me: Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker. Even let's open it up to just British players then as well. Kieran Trippier over at Atletico Madrid, and then behind him you've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Reece James, and guys like this. There has been a debate regarding everything, but I just want to get your point of view on who you think where he ranks.
I love him so much, right? But it's really hard to judge until you see him in that environment. I think Trent is the best right back.
I would agree with that. I'm just going to get in there early. I've got Trent as number one, mate. Yep.
I would say he's maybe the best in the world at right back. He's unbelievable. He does what Tav does here in the Prem. So that just shows you.
And in the Champions League, of course, as well, and in big moments. Yep.
So it's hard for me to pick like a list. I'd say Tav I don't think he's at the bottom. I would say he's maybe like.
Is he better than Kyle Walker as a right back? As a modern right back?
I think Kyle Walker's more physical, but I think Tavernier all-round player.
But see, the way I look at Kyle Walker these days is he's more a centre-half. I would prefer him playing in a modern, like Man City centre-half type environment.
I get what you mean.
But maybe he just still pips Tav in this, but there's definitely an argument there for me. And I think Walker, in a lot of people's opinions, is probably number two. Kieran Trippier's a guy that moved,
I like Trippier.
But Kieran Trippier moved for Spurs in a time where he was getting slaughtered by the fans, by the way, and went for 20 million quid.
Mm-hmm.
Tav can't be far away for it.
I would if we sell Tavernier in January for anything less than 20, I'd be fuming.
Mm-hmm. Guys that I'm going to jump in on, mate, and say that he's better than is Wan-Bissaka, 100%,
yes.
and Reece James. I believe he's better than the both of them, and these are guys that get a lot of credits. And is it because he played down south? Is it because Tav's up here?
Aye.
And yes, people say he played in the Championship and stuff, but he was a Championship player. Mm-hmm. He's no longer a Championship player, and we're now seeing that. We're seeing it in Europe. We're seeing it in big moments. So for me, Tav is above them without a shadow of a doubt, and definitely in amongst the others.
The awkward thing for this question is, I would need to see Tav in that environment to get a better understanding. But I don't want him to go anywhere.
No, of course. We don't want him to go.
That's the balance. Yeah. So I don't care if he's better than him. so he can. No, he's not.
Stay away.
He's shite.
Yeah, shite. Actually, now that you've said that, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, man, you just keep him.
Did you see wee Slaney on Open Goal talking about him?
What'd they say?
He's like, I think he'd be stupid not to go.
Aye, that was good to be fair. We're the opposite. Aye.
Oh, he's shite.
We're the same, aren't we, actually?
Oh, he'd be stupid to go.
Aye, definitely. I mean, come on, talk to me. What's he on at Rangers? He's never getting anywhere near that down south at Man United or anything like that. 29.
He's done.
He's done. He's finished. His knees have went, by the way. He won me a free kick and he's going to collapse down. I genuinely believe that. He's finished. He's definitely finished. He's only 26. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. So that'll conclude that wee part then. Folk Rangers were solid. We'll move on to Celtic bouncing back in a 2-0 win versus Kilmarnock. Everybody on the podcast picked Celtic not to win, basically. I think I took Kilmarnock to win, you took Kilmarnock to win because you'd been picking Celtic to win all the way up, and Kirsten, even, who's a Celtic fan, took a 1-each draw. The game in the first half, of what I'm hearing, wasn't the greatest. Celtic still struggled to break them down, very slow, pedestrian, but they get the luck in the second half through that El Yunusi chance. And that's what you need, innit? See, when everything's not going so well for you, you need that wee bit of luck. And Celtic got that, and they went on to win the game.
See, the best thing I can put it is, see how a good thing like happened with Rangers as well. Champions win games even when they're playing bad. And even though Celtic are a bit behind us, now that's a Celtic team that only playing well that got a win against a good team. Kilmarnock are
think Kelly are good?
Against Old Firm, aye. They're a hard team to play if you're Old Firm.
No, definitely. When it comes to anti-football, they're unbelievable.
Oh, definitely. So in terms of the whole game is see when Celtic beat Lille, I would have changed my prediction. I would have said they're going to win because that's the confidence boost they would have got for that game, even though it meant nothing, would have been massive. So if you asked me after the Lille game what the score would have been, I would have swung me towards Celtic. Maybe no a clean sheet because you know what that defence is like, but I would have probably picked them to win.
That is the massive thing that came out of the game as well. Everybody going into it, all the Celtic fans were talking about who's he going to play, because of course in midweek versus Lille he gave a lot of young players opportunities. Well, they're not that young, to be fair, they're senior players, but they've not been given that opportunity. 3 guys that took their opportunity were Turnbull, Sorrow and Hazard, along with others, but they were probably the standouts. It was a big decision for Neil Lennon, I think, to pick them in the Killie game. And they were good again. All the Celtic fans are buzzing off them, especially Turnbull. Finally, they have somebody that can beat the first man with a cross, and I think that's going to be massive for them.
This is what confuses me. I was talking to my roommate about it, and he was saying it might have been fitness, might have been this, but he's been in their books for how long, and he's not even got a sniff. And he's come on for 2 games and been the best player in the park both times. Sorrow maybe at a push. Sorrow has been class as well, but I don't get why has he not been playing? Like, what? He's quite obvious. He's got the class. I think he showed that at Motherwell. He's shown it at Celtic now. But that's what I just can't get my head around it. The big question for me is, does he start on Sunday?
I think he's got to. I think Turnbull's a nail on. Hazard, I think, should start as well. Will Sorrow start? I don't think so, but we'll get on to the cup final further on. I think Scott Brown will come back in for that game. But it's massive for Neil Lennon, isn't it? It's huge. They needed to win that game. You could have said they needed to win several games before, but they 100% needed to win that, and they did.
If they didn't win that game, even obviously I can joke and laugh about the situation being a Rangers fan, but even I'd have been like, right, come on, fuck. Surely you're going to sack him now.
Definitely, mate.
Because how many games is it they went without a win? Obviously 12 games, they'd only won 2. They've won 2 in a row now. They need to win this cup final. This cup final is, in my opinion, this is the only reason Neil Lennon's been kept, is because if he wins this cup final, people might start to turn them back to like them again. So see if he loses this cup final, it is game over for me in terms of Neil Lennon as a Celtic manager. Another
guy that people are talking about, and I watched his reaction after the game, his interview with Shane Duffy. It's a guy that came to Scotland. Everybody said he's going to do this, he's going to do that. There was an English pundit saying that he was going to score double figures. Quickly gets swept under the rug because he realised it wasn't as easy as it seemed. Came under a lot of criticism, was made out of a meme, to be quite honest. I don't think that he's ideal for Celtic. I still don't think that he's going to be what they think he's going to be. But he can, in my opinion, fit into a back 3 where Julian's maybe the top man, or a back 2 or whatever. And in this game, he gets his goal. You can see how much it meant to him. In the post-match, he said that it seemed to get to him, like coming up to Celtic. I don't know if he realised how hard it was going to be or whatever. He's a Celtic fan, so you would expect him to, but I don't think he was ready for it, to be quite honest, and the criticism that came with it. And it's now interesting to see how he kicks on for this. Does it give him the confidence to go and just do his job, which is defending, at the end of the day, or does he go back to what he's been doing and get fun out?
I think Shane Duffy coming up here, this might sound a bit Rangers tinted glasses. I think he came up here, I think it'd be a cakewalk. I think he came up here a bit
a cakewalk? What's that?
Like an easy run.
With cake?
I think he'd have come up here with the same mindset as Barton, thinking, I'll run this show, I'll do what I want. And maybe, like you said, Julian being the main man, I think he's been too certain being the main man because he's a Celtic guy. He thinks because he is a Celtic man and he come up here to win the 10th title in a row, biggest season in Celtic's history. I thought he thought it'd be easier than it was, and see when he got that wee fright, see when Connor Golson scored 2, and I think that game in itself showed the confidence just gone right down.
Because up until that he was good, he was decent.
He was scoring goals. He was doing his job, and I think just the confidence boost and the expectation maybe to be the main man
which is mental, to be fair, because there's no fans there. So how? But there still is a stupendous amount of pressure.
Just trying to look outside the windows now. They're waiting on him
with the barriers in that hand. We'll move on now. Then Celtic, obviously, it was really, really important for them to do that.
It's a big result for them. That one.
It's huge.
Even if they were playing well, Kilmarnock's a hard team to play. So the fact that they've been at their worst and they're still getting a result, you can't.
But you credit where credit's due here.
Definitely.
So we'll move on to some of the other games in the SPL. Hamilton 0, Hibs 4. It was expected, to be fair. We thought Hibs were going to go there and absolutely batter them, but it's still a surprise. See when you still see it 4-0, it still hits you a wee bit when it isn't an old firm team. So Hamilton obviously get the 3-0 wins and stuff like that pushed them up to the table. and they got a good result as well versus Kilmarnock at home. But that's a scalping. Is that? I want to get your opinions on. Is that expected for Hamilton, or is that still what it seems like a really bad result? Do you know what I mean? Because Hibs are doing well this season.
I think if you were any other team apart from maybe us two, Hibs and Aberdeen, then I'd be questioning it. But I think when you look at the Hibs team this year, it's no surprise if they beat anybody apart from us two 4-0. They could beat anybody 4-0. So it's just honestly, see, the thing with Hibs is for me, it can go either three ways. It'll go, they'll scalp them, they'll get scalped, or it'll be a tight game that goes either way. It's never going to be all the time Hibs are going to win.
Hibs struggle with consistency as well. I mean, I've noticed.
It's always a coin toss. So it's going to be that Hamilton game. Even though we predicted a scalping, expected a scalping, and it was. See, if they went away 1-0 winners, I'd have been like, all right, they got the job done. But I mean, look at their result against Alloa.
Definitely, yeah.
They struggled to get by them. I watched the second half of it. Choking for them to get put out, obviously. But I watched the second half, and even though they got the 2 goals, they were panicking. Our main man up top, we got about 4 headers, clear headers, and I think one of them was on target, and it ended up being the goal, obviously. But it was Alloa, tough team as we know from our times down in the bottom leagues.
Aye, tough on your arse, mate. Tough on the old arse, man. Thank God we're a comfier seat today, because my God, you'd leave Alloa Stadium with piles. My goodness.
They gave him a good game, so unfortunately for Alloa, not getting to go through and maybe playing us again. But Hibs struggled to get by them, so that's the weird thing with them.
Aye,
they can scalp them and then struggle.
And obviously Hibs, they look like they're on for a 3rd place finish now. I think they went above Celtic as well up until Celtic won the other day there. But it's also interesting that Aberdeen have beat them twice and beat them comfortably in the league.
And Aberdeen.
So it's such a weird one because
Hibs have drew with us as well.
It's like both of them are just up and down. Like it's such a hard one to call.
The thing that I heard at the start of the season, I think it was me. I would even agreed with you that the Hibs Aberdeen games were going to define who finishes 3rd, but it's no at all. It's the rest of the teams. It's how they can fare against your Hamiltons and against your Kilmarnocks that's going to define who finishes 3rd and who finishes 4th. So I think I said at the start of the season Hibs, and then I maybe kind of ventured, but I'll stick with Hibs.
I said Hibs as well, but another team that we thought was going to be there or thereabouts was Motherwell. And they get beat at the weekend 1-0 versus St Mirren. Obviously St Mirren are playing well, but St Mirren go there in their fine vein of form. They beat Motherwell 1-0, but this is still a game that you would expect Motherwell to win. But they've been so hot and cold. I mean, there's people now talking about Robinson loses his job. I think that's very harsh. I mean, he's lost David Turnbull. Do you know what I mean? He's the main man there. Their Motherwell still at the end of the day, like with all due respect, they've not really had the same batting as other teams. I mean, you look at Hibs, they went out and spent 350 grand on this bit, and it might not seem like a lot, but it's a huge gap when it comes to, do you know what I mean? Motherwell need to go certain places, and maybe they'll do that in January, and maybe they'll do that at the end of the year. I highly doubt it because of the way their strategy works, but it's a hard job, Motherwell. It's no easy, you know, and I think it's premature for Robinson to be getting called out.
I can think that if I was a Motherwell fan, the only reason I can think I'd be on his back is the Cup. The Cup is such a big deal to Motherwell because the league's obviously never going to happen. A top 6 finish is what you're looking for. So see the fact that they're out the Cup this early, that'll be why he's getting a bit of stick. I think if he went for it, because if he got to Hampden, they'd maybe give him a bit more leeway. But I do agree with you. I think it's premature to be talking about Saturn because he's the work he's done for Motherwell in the grand scheme of things. But the only way is the Cup, so if they were still in the Cup, I'd maybe give them a bit more leeway, but you never know.
Aberdeen 2-0 as well, very important win for them to get back to winning ways. Big Main came in, scored the double. This guy seems to just be so elusive. He disappears for weeks and months on end, then he just pops up with a double. And it's important because the big man Cosgrove wasn't doing it. He's came back for injury and he's not been scoring goals, so somebody needed to step up, somebody needed to do it, and Curtis Main done that.
I feel like Aberdeen have got a few players that can step up.
You know who Curtis Main is, by the way, do you? Because off camera you say sometimes I say names and you've just no clue.
This is why this setup's going to do me a wee bit, because usually I've got my laptop and I've got all my notes sitting out and I've got all the names I need to know.
Was that a murder scene behind you?
A wee bit. And,
in front of you?
You've done me. So I don't know who they were playing. But I think Motherwell, like Hedges for example, he's a wee player that can have a wee spark. So I feel like they've got a few players that can rise to the occasion and show a bit of spark, but the consistency is the key. I mean, Cosgrove was their main man for how long? And he's came back for injury and he's not shooting. So if he was to get there and maybe a few other players kept that standard up, they'd be pushing for third quite easily, never mind questioning it.
Another one, Big Martindale gets his 3rd win on the bounce. Livingston 2, St Johnstone 1, and this is a St Johnstone team that went into that undefeated, I think, over 11 games. So that was massive for him, and surely he's going to get the job into it.
I predicted it.
You predicted it, you did indeed. We'll get on to that. We'll get on to you and your mad daft. That's the first game you've won in God knows how long. Sorry to spoil that, but
I think it'd be stupid not to give him the job. I feel like I think once he got the job, we were all kind of questioning. It can go either way, can it? You can either come off to a flyer, or you can just be on the way down, all the way down and down. And he's reacted very, very well. So
a lot has been made about his past as well. I don't know if you're aware, but he was in jail. But listen, that happens. People learn. People learn for that, and they move on. So he's obviously worked his way up.
There's a reason he's not still in jail.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that what's his name should be in jail. What's his name? Oh, I'll not say it actually. I'll not say it. I'll get. Oh no, I can't say it. Just for the style of football he plays.
Right, okay.
It's nothing bad, mate. It's nothing bad. It's no exposing on this show or anything like. Right. Have you seen the videos, to be fair?
Oh my
that
God,
guy's
mate.
just roaming about here, there and everywhere,
God,
innit? Jesus Christ. I know. I've seen the memes as well about it, but so let's now get into what I'm glad. I'm sure under the table I'm looking, and you're a wee bit excited about what you're going to tell us about this score table, aren't you? And about the scores.
I mean, you're still winning, but
I know I'm still winning. Come on, talk to me about that. Of course I'm still winning. However, you've clawed it back a wee bit this week, haven't you? Right, go, give us your spiel. What's happening?
So, first game, Aberdeen v Ross County. I said 3-1, you said 1-0. Custon said 2-1. It finished 2-0 as we know, so we all got 3 points there. Motherwell v St Mirren. Me and Custon predicted a Motherwell win. You predicted a draw. Ended up being a St Mirren win, so no points for anybody there. Kind of got a wee howler there. I hope they're no winning the night. So, what time is it? We're alright.
We're still good for time, mate.
We're alright. St Johnstone Livy. I said 2-1 Livy. You said 2-0 St Johnstone. She said 1 each. I'll let you. What score was it? What was the score?
I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
It was 2-1 Livy.
This is your bit, mate. God's sake.
5 points to the main man. 0 for my compadres. Next game is Hamilton v Hibs.
What was that, Spanish?
I'm a quarter Spanish, you know that?
Are you?
I tell everybody that. Surprised I'm not talking that before.
I thought you were a quarter of the House of Eyes, man. Really?
Okay, Hamilton v Hibs. We both me and you said 3-0. Custon said 2-0. It was 4-0. Dundee United v Rangers. I said 3-0. You said 4-0. Custon said 2-0. It was 2-1. 3 points again. And Celtic Kelly, no points.
No points for any, mate.
Celtic were going to be shite again. And unfortunately they weren't. I'm going to predict them to win next game because then they'll lose. That shows you how it works. So the scores on the doors are: I'm on 136, you're on 141, and Custon's on 118. Now Custon,
she's got 1 mile week, hasn't she?
1 mile week.
I asked her for her predictions for the day, and she's just patched me.
Maybe the COVID's got her.
I hope no.
So Custon, you've got 1 mile week to call that back, and then you're on your own.
Yeah, let's do the predictions then for next week, mate.
Cool.
Let's do it.
So
make sure you get involved in the comment section below as well, with the chance to win a Porsche if you beat me and Jack.
Have you seen that picture of the Porsche with a chippy?
No. Oh, that was fake though, eh?
Nah, I know, but that was funny. How many people bought into that?
I know.
So they've got 4 Saturday games and we've got 2 Sunday games, with one of them being the cup final. First game on Saturday is Hibs v Dundee United. I went for a wee 3-1 to Hibs.
I'm going 3-0 to Hibs. Don't think Dundee United will score. Because even though they scored versus Rangers, they've been struggling to score goals recently, and their goal was a piece of class versus Rangers.
So next one is Ross County v Hamilton. I went for a 2-0 County.
Ross County
This
v
is a
Hamilton.
big game. This is a big game for the
This is huge.
battle.
It's huge for the relegation battle for sure. You would think Ross County would maybe have the edge because of the firepower that they've got up top with Stuart. By the way, Aberdeen and Dundee United are after Stuart. I seen the day.
Really?
Both of them are going to be after him. Dundee United are trying to get him on a pre-contract. I think Aberdeen are going to try and come in
January
and actually buy him. So I think Aberdeen would be the better move for him there, to be quite honest. But I'm going for 0-0.
Oh really?
And I just think Ross County do struggle to score.
Absolutely.
Hamilton concede a lot, but they also, it's such a weird game,
it's
mate.
a weird game.
And I think potentially they might be a wee bit cagey because of how much it means. If I was to go with MD, I would go with Ross County because I think they've got better quality in the final third. They've got better players, I think. So if I was to go with anybody, I'd go with them. But I'm going 0-0, mate.
Fair enough.
For 0-0.
Third game, I'll let you go first. It is St Mirren at home v St Johnstone.
I'm going 1-0 to St Mirren. St Johnstone have been. Are you going with the same?
Just to make sure they can come no copy.
No, I believe you. So 1-0, both of us are going with that. Just the way St Mirren are playing at the moment. There was also a lot of criticism for Goodwin earlier in the season, And I think I maybe bought into it a wee bit as well, just being so naive. But if you look at everything that they've went through this season, and you actually look at them on the park, they play well.
Aye.
They're actually one of the only sides in Scotland that actually know how to play. If you look at their goal versus Motherwell, what a goal that was, by the way. They played it out for the back, get up. Obika had the chance one-on-one. The goalkeeper makes a save, it drops to McGrath in the edge of the box and he puts it in the back of the net. But the build-up play to that goal was class, and I think that they're going to have too much for St Johnstone.
So we move on to the first Old Firm team of the weekend, and it's Rangers v Motherwell. Rangers at home here. That's just quite bold for me. I went 3-1. I think they will get a goal.
You think Motherwell will get a goal? I remember the last time I said that. Alan McGregor wasn't happy, mate.
It's on the old Bella.
Aye, wasn't he? And they scored as well, so I was proved right. Alan McGregor, what do you know? Nah, kidding on. I think Rangers will win 3-0. I'm hoping that we get back to clean sheets, mate. I'm hoping that we do. I think we will. I think we will get back to clean sheets. I think there'll be changes in the game, because obviously the night we've got a cup game, and the schedule, mate, over the next couple of weeks is horrendous.
It's as if we've got a European final coming up.
Aye. That is.
Still know that.
This is like a Rangers show today, innit, man? We need Kirsten back in here.
I just to balance it.
We need it balanced, too.
We need to move it.
See, be fair though, see if Kirsten was in the middle, wouldn't be balanced, eh? It'd still be like us, with me. If I'm on this side, mate, there's no chance that me and you're keeping it balanced. Let's be honest, man. I'm two of you. You know what I mean? Hopefully, no in the next couple of months. We're back at the gym now.
Oh, good,
the gym's
good.
reopened. So I've been a couple of times.
I've not been back yet.
See, looks you get, eh? They go, oh, I remember you.
See, the thing is, I go to the gym up at Everlast at the Fort, and I'm obviously wee as fuck. So I walk in and I'm like wearing my skin tight gym shop stuff, and I look like I'm a P4. And this big wall puncher's putting up that iron, and I'm like, can I get me shot of that after you, pal? And then I'm taking all the weights off.
What is your thoughts on the gym then, actually? Just, I know we're diverse in here, but obviously you're saying you're a wee bit smaller.
I like it, but
there's some people that get...
I get dead anxious in the gym.
Right, okay.
I don't like the crowds, I don't like people...
What part is it in specific? Because I remember years ago when I first started going, it was all just down to me not knowing, to be quite honest, not knowing exactly how to work things and all that. And I used to always go through the same routine all the time. It'd be on like the fixed weights, which is just like the machines. I was anxious myself to go over and work on the free weights, because that requires a wee bit more of know-how and level to... But I'm actually quite curious.
So I've got a few pals that are good at the gym, and I've went with them a few times, so they've taught me techniques and stuff and what to do and what's good for this, what's good. So I'm happy to go to free weights and do it, but see when it's busy, especially like peak time after work, if I'm gone. There's been times I went to the gym after work and I'll walk in, it's that busy, I'll just walk right back out. I'm not in the mood. I don't know what it is. It's not like I have an issue with people looking at me or judging me or anything like that. I just my wee brain just starts going, get out of here, because I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's just experience and knowledge, I think, at the end of the day.
I used to go to pure gym.
But see, when you realise, though, everybody's there for the same reason, just to improve, it can help to a certain extent. But I was certainly the same, mate, to be fair.
I'm not really good in crowds in general, so I feel like when I'm trying to focus on something and there's all this stuff going on, it's just, I don't know. I usually go when it's dead, because then I can get in and get out without any hassle.
Well, don't go in January then, because it's got to be like a Royal Rumble.
That's the thing, man. See, I remember the last time I wanted to go to the gym. It was just by chance. It was January time. It wasn't a New Year's resolution. It wasn't anything like that. And I just had to wait. I was like, I'm not going. I'm not going in January. It's no point. Cause I didn't want to seem like one of the New Year's resolution guys, and I can't be bothered with the anxiety, because that's not for me at all. So Sunday game in the league, we've got Kilmarnock at home against Aberdeen. I'll let you take the last of them.
Aberdeen, I think, will come out on top here again, mate. I'm going 2-1 Aberdeen.
I've went 3-1.
3-1, that'd be a big result for them.
I just think Kelly coming off of that game as well with Celtic, they're going to try too hard. I think they're going to go for it, and I think Aberdeen are a better team, and they'll be able to pick that off. That's
the thing I was going to mention today as well. I seen that the Aberdeen chairman, because obviously all the AGMs have been happening, and the Aberdeen chairman came out and says that they really want to push for second this year, because obviously the Champions League, yep, pretty bold, but to be fair, I know it's slaughtering Celtic a wee bit, but it's a fair point, because Celtic haven't been as good, and Aberdeen and Hibs are in touch and distance now. I do think Celtic will pull away, definitely. I think it will be closer than what it is at the moment, but he's come out and he says that they should be pushing for second, that he wants them to push for second. Whether that means in January they go out and spend some money on a roster and they try and push them all the way, because to be fair, that could change the dynamic of Scottish football so much if an Aberdeen or something like that gets into the Champions League knockout stages, because the financial return for that is unbelievable. And Dave Cormack, I think his name is, was coming out as well, and he said Derek McInnes in the league has got a 55% win rate and Sir Alex, who's had the best ever at Aberdeen's history, had 58%. So he's 3% behind Sir Alex.
You can't fault
he's
that.
nowhere near Sir Alex, let's be quite honest.
Oh, no.
I'm not a massive fan of Derek McInnes, and I pray every night and I thank God for him turning the job down,
I'm
to
so
be quite
happy.
honest. But
See that U-turn
he's
he
he's second best in the league percentage-wise win
That's
rate
mental.
out of every manager in Aberdeen's history, out obviously with Sir Alex
And he was,
leading the line.
I'm guessing he was there longer than Sir Alex and all, so he's had more.
I'm not sure, to be quite honest. Sir Alex was there for a while, but I'd imagine he probably is
thought so.
pushing it on a wee bit now, because he's maybe 9 years now. Derek McInnes has been the manager.
How long he's been there?
Aye.
Jesus.
He's the longest serving manager in the Scottish Premiership.
Aye.
By quite a stretch.
Last podcast we spoke about that.
I know. We did. Tommy Wright, up until obviously he left, was up there,
Aye.
mate. But no, I was actually really surprised at him coming out and saying that.
Fair
But fair
enough.
play, it shows a wee bit of ambition, and I think Hibs will be thinking the same.
It's one of the ones, like, you can, the papers will love that, but it's we're as blue as we come, and even we're like,
No, I'm red tonight.
aye, well, you can go on that bandwagon.
I know, I'm on that.
Well, I'm as blue as they come on all then, and I'd be giving it all Ken Bridges. Enjoy your night, mate. That's a guy in the pub, innit? You know what? I'll tell you, we'll get second this year. We'll get it. All right, mate. Up the road.
But it would be mental, eh?
It would be unbelievable if they were to do that. I think it would just show how much Celtic relied on Brendan Rodgers if they crumbled that much.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening in a million years. Not going to lie, but it would be weird. I would love it. Obviously, I would have a great time. But living with a Celtic fan and all that, but I don't think I'd get to talk.
It is a great opportunity still, though, for Scottish football to go out there and
I
have two teams.
I respect that ambition.
Aye, fair enough to him, mate, and it would be mental if it happened.
The big one.
Yes,
You can take us off with this one.
the big one: Celtic versus Hearts,
Cup final.
Scottish Cup final from last year.
Yes.
Wow. I think Celtic.
What a build up.
Aye, mate. I think before we get into Gino predictions, I think maybe the wee preview
Yes.
first. But it's massive. It's obviously massive for Celtic to go there and win. It's massive for Neil Lennon to go there and win this be his first treble as Celtic manager, which some people might be surprised at when he came in his first tenure at Celtic. Wasn't able to do it as a manager, of course. And it's probably ultimately the reason why he moved on, and also Ronnie Dyler was the reason he was moved on, because they couldn't win that treble. It's only that Brendan Rodgers came in and made it look so easy.
Aye.
And the competition wasn't quite there for Brendan Rodgers, where everybody's now expecting a treble and thinking that
Aye.
it's the
necessity.
standard, you know. So I think it's a massive game for Neil Lennon. It's one that there will be favourites in, Jack, innit?
I would assume so. It's one of the games as well where obviously anything can happen in a final, but Celtic will go into that. See, even like secretly kind of pressure you'll feel. I feel like the pressure of a final will affect Hearts more than Celtic, because Celtic are used to this. They've been in.
But then again, if you look at the semi-final
Aye.
versus Hibs, mate, they were brilliant.
They were really good against Hibs, but see in the same breath as that, you would probably say the same about an Old Firm, where at the form and that doesn't matter. Probably the same with Edinburgh Derby. I probably would have said Hibs would have won that game, but the fact it's a derby and that they hate each other, anything can happen. For me, getting into this game, it is the most must-win game for Celtic so far this season. The Old Firm, you can obviously argue because of the importance of it, but
At this current, up until this point, it's
Aye.
the most important.
definitely.
Yeah.
And the thing for me that I'm getting at, it's going to ruin my head, is the team selection, because for me,
I've actually got that written down, but on you go.
the selection for me is the most important thing for Neil Lennon here. See if he goes on all reliables and tries to play it safe with your Christian, your Brown, and the players that aren't performing this year, and they lose it. It's done. Like, so, see if he plays Turnbull and Sorrow and they lose the cup final. See, as much as he'll still get the hate, I'd be like, fair enough for taking a chance with the boys, because they've been playing well. They deserve to play in this game. And I heard a thing on the radio saying that he needs to like give a shout to people that got them there.
Yeah.
In my opinion, see if a team got me to the final and they were playing utter shite for the weeks coming up to the final, I want to play them.
Aye.
That's no.
I mean, look at Man United, mate. See, as soon as Roy Keane, David Beckham, and all these type of guys, the only guy that really got away with spitting the dummy out the pram a wee bit was probably Cristiano Ronaldo. And we know, and because he's magical. But see, Sir Alex, when somebody, it didn't matter how much they gave them, if their performances weren't up to stand, if their attitude wasn't right, if anything was off, they were out the door.
Definitely.
He nearly done it with Schmeichel as well, but then he heard Schmeichel apologising to everybody in the dressing room. So for me, Sorrow needs to start, but I think Neil Lennon has come out and says he will be rewarding the guys that got him there. I think Scott Brown will play. I think Scott Brown will play in this match, and people will have their opinions on that. But a must for me, to be quite honest, is David Turnbull, because he's come in, he's been the guy that's been a standout, and I think Hazard should start as well in goals, to be quite honest.
He's not done it, man.
He's done nothing. He's had to do nothing. But the limited things he's done, he's probably done better than the other two, you know.
It's a bit like McLaughlin. See, if McGregor was playing shite and McLaughlin came in and done what he done, I'd be like, keep him, because he's done nothing wrong. He's not really had much to do, but the things he's done well. So, but the fact, I feel like, see, the thing that's confusing me as well, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that like, what to sign Foster in January. I'm like, how much did you just spend on Barkas? And you're going to just...
I think they will sign Foster.
See, to be honest...
But would you want a guy that turns you down in the summer? Going into the biggest season, obviously they start where they are right now, but just for...
See, obviously I'm not in the position they're in now, so I can probably sit here and be like, nah, I would say no. See, if I was sitting as a Celtic fan
you're desperate.
And you're desperate to get this 10 and you need something big, and you need somebody that can win a final on his own, like what he done against us, I would be asking for him. I'd want him, because, like you said, Barkas is a guy with sleeves. He's useless.
He's no arms, just sleeves.
He's useless. This Hazard.
Bane's no good either.
This Hazard's been flung in the hopes that he's going to play well. And to be fair, at Celtic they've played well enough that he's not had to do much. But see if he gets caught out doing something stupid as well.
Yeah.
Who are they going to rely on?
Which for me, he will eventually. He's 22-year-old, and people have been. I've seen some people slating him, saying he was terrible and all that, and his loan moves. But listen, what age was Al McGregor when he became number one? 25, 26? And I'm not comparing the two, but young goalkeepers will go away and they'll make mistakes. That's the reason they don't get flung in at the deep end, because it's unforgiving in goals. It's unforgiving. One mistake and it's done. Alan McGregor sits watching the game for 80 minutes and then he needs to pop up in a big moment and make a save, and that's why he's so good. But Alan McGregor wouldn't have been as good if he wasn't given the opportunity to go to Dunfermline, to go here, to go there, St Johnstone, and to learn his trade. Look at McCrory at Livingston as well. He's made big mistakes, but I'm still confident he'll come at Rangers and he'll be good. Do you know what I mean? So don't judge young goalkeepers, especially on loan performances. They're there to learn. They're there to make mistakes. That's what it's all about.
That's the thing as well. Like, see, even though he's there to learn, and the reason he's there is because nothing else can do it. He's been put in at number one because your other two guys that you've paid all this money for can't do it. So get off his back a wee bit. He's doing the best he can do in a situation that, quite frankly, he's younger than me and he's playing in goal for Celtic. So you need to come some slack.
For much as we're talking about him there, I was going to ask you, what do you think the key areas of winning this match are? And one of them for me is the goalkeeper.
Okay.
Because you look at Hazard, right? He is inexperienced. He could definitely make mistakes. Up until this point, he's looked all right. He's not had much to do.
Big game,
but
though.
you look at the other side of the sticks, and you've got Craig Gordon, who has had an unbelievable career internationally and at club level. Left Hearts as captain when he was younger for £9 million, I believe it was. Down to, who was it, Sunderland? And only for injury was he sent back up the road. But Rangers trained him up, and then he went to Celtic. And obviously you look at everything he went on to achieve. Now 37-year-old, but I think that could be a massive part. And the other area that I think that will be important for Celtic, and the reason why I think Turnbull needs to start if they want to win the game, is for set pieces. As for you look at it, I think Duffy will start. You look at it, you've got Duffy, Ayer, Julian, these big guys. You've got to have somebody in there that can hit them. And David Turnbull can do that. Christie gets a lot of criticism because he can't beat the first man. He's a good player, gives his work rate and all that. But when you talk about quality, talk about swagger, David Turnbull's got that. And when you talk about natural ability as well, he's head shoulders above Ryan Christie. So he needs to start for me, and that's my area I think Celtic need to focus on to win this game.
I would agree with keeper. I'd say it's one of the ones that Hearts will know that he's fresh. He's never played at Hampden before. He's never played in a cup final before. They'll be popping shots off just to see how he handles them. I would agree with this Turnbull with set pieces as well. The thing for me is defending set pieces. They've been absolutely shambolic at defending set pieces this year, and I don't know why. I can't understand why. Is that for Lennon?
So then that's what Hearts need to focus on, and they've got players in their team that can deliver the goods on that as well. Stephen Naismith's had a great career, can win headers. We don't like to mention him too much, but he can do it. Christophe Berra's expected to start as well.
See, as much as well as Shane Duffy's not had the greatest season, see if you deliver a ball at his head, he'll get a good connection on it and he'll get it in the back of the net. So the fact that
if he's good at it and it's good at winning, heading in a ball, you know what I mean?
Just get his big noggin on it. So see if Turnbull can get a ball to him and with the right pace and the right angle. That's exactly what they need. So see if they can get that. Hearts won't be able to. I don't see Hearts being able to compete with.
I think Christoph Berra will go on him, mate, and his aerial duel wins are
he
unbelievable.
doesn't
So
he?
that will be a good battle. Aye, that will be a good battle, to be fair.
I'll give him the number for my dentist.
So then Hearts, we're giving Hearts a chance. We're giving Hearts every chance because we look at Celtic recently. They stumbled at the line, you could say, versus Kelly up until the goal.
Aye.
Where they went on, you need to give them credit where credit's due. They were good versus Lille, but before that, versus Ross County, versus St Johnstone. Come on. And you look at that Hearts side, they've just come into form. There was a team needing a battering, and it came at the weekend versus Queen of the South. Hearts won 6-1. A lot of players played well in the match. Stephen Naismith got a hat-trick. So they're getting in with some form, getting into this game. I mean, you look at their squad, that's a top 6 SPL squad. So if they teams can give Celtic difficulty, Hearts can certainly give them difficulty.
I honestly think, in terms of teams who could play Celtic right now, bar us, that could give them a game as Hearts. Because even like your Hibs and stuff, you never really, even though they give them a game at Easter Road now and again, I'd be sitting here much more confident Celtic would win if it was Hibs. For some reason, Hearts on me as like their, no, I wouldn't say they're bogey team.
But it has been, to be fair. They were the team that stopped their unbeaten record.
69 games in a row, and they beat them 4-0 with Kyle Lafferty, who I met in my work, by the way.
Good guy.
Oh, brilliant. Aye, so I feel like, even this is going to sound really ironic when I say my prediction, but if any team's going to beat them apart from us this season in a big game like that, big occasion, big Hardy's going to be playing, hopefully, it'll be Hearts, I think. But
so that leaves us with one thing then, Jack, and it is your prediction. And I'm interested to hear this, mate.
So I've said Hearts could win it. I've said if any team's going to do it's going to be Hearts. But I've went 2-1 Celtic.
You went 2-1 Celtic?
I think it'll be a tough game. I think it could go either way, but in a big game, Celtic have more experience. They have the players that have more experience. That's the thing with Scott Brown. Even if he does play, he knows how to play a final. So he'll know what he's doing. And a very, very big pitch at Hampden.
Yeah.
So I think they'll legit.
I think that's a good point you made there about the pitch. And when we've seen Celtic recently versus Aberdeen, that's what they've done to their advantage. Hearts will come. There'll be a different proposition to Aberdeen. And if Hearts can come and they can make it difficult, I think, and they don't concede early, I think it could get into extra time. And at that point, it's anybody's game. So, yeah, my head says it'll be 2-0 Celtic. But I also think at the same time, Hearts can get a result in extra time. So, since I've been picking against Celtic, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Hearts in extra time.
Oh.
Which would be mental. But Hearts can do it, listen. They can definitely do it.
First time on the sheet.
And I can't pick the same result as you, mate. I cannot pick the same result as you.
For me, the pitch is going to be the big factor. See, because you look.
It's a good point. The pitch will be massive.
You look at the game Celtic played against Aberdeen with the 3 each, and it was anybody's game. And then they went to Hampden and just played the game like they always played the game at Hampden, and it looked easy that day. So I feel like Hearts are going to come sitting in, hoping to concede an early goal. If Celtic get that early goal, I think it is done. But if they can hold off till like 78th minute, either maybe snatch one there, take it extra time, like you've said, it's anybody's game. Oh, I meant to say to you, by the way. So Div kindly brought me a can of Monsters. This isn't a sponsor, but I have never tried this.
I wish it was You've never tried it?
I've never tried this.
You want to try it?
Alright.
But if you don't like it, I need to try it, and I've already had a can, and I'll be buzzing out my Brad Pitts.
Because
I think you'll like it, mate.
You drink this all the time.
I do.
And I've never tried it.
If I was on a diet, mate, I'd be drinking like 3 of them a day. I know that's wrong, big man Chris behind the cam, but here we go. Moment of truth. He loves it. It's not like an energy drink, isn't it? No.
Oh, that's nice. I was expecting to say I hate Red
like
Bull.
An energy. Yeah.
I hate Red Bull.
No, it's like another world, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's Mercury and fucking Red Bull's Pluto.
Tastes like summery fruity.
Aye.
Nice.
Your first one, like everything melts in your mouth.
That's nice.
You
get excited. Tell me it's good.
See when you go into it and you think that it's going to taste like an energy drink, and then you get that, you're buzzing about it. It's like a tropical drink.
But it's fruity. That's nice.
But the thing is, like, see with Monsters, you don't. What's the flavour in it?
I would say do you know? Have you ever tried that Caribbean Crush juice?
Aye.
That the mad reggae sauce guy made on what Dragons Den? Do you have any idea what I'm
No,
talking
I've
about?
no idea. Not a clue.
Do you know? Caribbean Crush juice. It tastes like that.
Does it?
Aye.
I'll
bring some of that next time. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right, well, Jack, that's us, mate. We have completed everything that we plan to do. But have you got anything else? Is there anything else we could talk about just to wrap this up? We've been gone now for about 55 minutes. 54 actually.
I think just a wee thing to touch on as well would be the West Brom manager getting sacked after drawing.
Oh, mate, Slaven Bilic. I knew this is what's so shady about down there in England. And I was like, my mate texts me and says he's been sacked. I hope they get relegated and get absolutely slaughtered now because he's just got a result. He got them up in the first place, Slaven Bilic, right? He gets them up. They're not the greatest. They've not spent as much money as other teams for what I've looked at for the outside looking in. And they went to Man City last night and got a 1-1 draw. That could be the turning point in their season. That could be the moment where they kick on. But no, they've sacked him. And they've obviously been gone behind his back. Obviously the new manager likes going behind people's backs and doing these wee snide deals and that. And they've brought in Sam Allardyce. What is Sam Allardyce going to do? He's going to keep you in the league, maybe a push, but what is he going to do beyond that? Slaven Bilic literally got them there. Mm-hmm. Turned their season around potentially with that game versus City last night, and he's been sacked. It's stinking. It's everything I hate about football.
The thing I don't get is how must the dressing room be feeling? Imagine going into that game against Man City, who are one of the favourites for the league. In the dressing room, he's giving you the talk, he's getting you fighting for it. You go and get a draw against Man City.
Everybody's buzzing.
Right in the changing room, all bouncing. Oh, by the way, I'm off. I've been told, okay, I'm getting sacked. I don't know, he might not even got a chance to say goodbye. Allardyce was in the door that quick. But I think it's quite shady on their part. I've seen a lot of comments talking about how the board at West Brom isn't the best and that people feel sorry for the team and the fans because they're not getting treated the way they deserve. But for me, the shadiness is the fact that they've sacked him after that game because already had Allardyce waiting. Mm-hmm. After that game, he deserved a wee chance to keep going. And I
mean, they're not bottom in the league either. Sheffield United are dead bottom with 1 point.
1 point.
I think that might have been West Brom's 8th point of the season, or maybe even 9th. But they're kind of close to third bottom and stuff. It's close down there for sure. There's a few teams that could be in the running for it.
It's definitely the manner of how it went about. I think it's no what football's about.
No, I totally agree with you, mate. Totally.
So best of luck. I hope to see it, and I like Sam Allardyce a wee bit.
I do like Sam Allardyce, but I'm just a bit aggrieved at this situation.
I'm hoping something goes wrong now. No, I feel sorry for the fans and the players, but I want something to go wrong to show that was the right choice. To show that was the wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I remember years ago, Nigel Pearson got Southampton up the leagues, and they sacked him, and it was probably the right thing to do at that moment in time. But they were probably doing a bit better at that time, and sometimes you look at it and you think that's a terrible decision, and it turns out to be all right. But this one, the Livingston one, and then they sacked, which I still think's wrong to this day, when Leicester sacked what's his name again?
Ranieri.
When they sacked Ranieri after they'd won them. He deserves a season. He deserves this, and now they've got Rodgers obviously, and they push for top 4 in that. But
one of the ones I hate.
He deserved this season, man.
See the win, was it Roberto Matteo or something? What's his name? Won the Champions League with Chelsea, and then they get the job. What the hell are you on?
Well, look at all the managers that have tried it. The amount of money that they've spent.
Even like Frank Lampard this season, it's not looking good for him.
Who's your favourite then for this league?
League?
Yeah, Premier League. You want to spice it up a bit?
Are we going to give a prediction?
I think mine's a simple one, to be fair. You'll not be surprised at me.
No, I'm going to go a wee shock, I think. I'm going to go Leicester.
Wow. See, that is a shock. Terrible shout for you. Shocking. That's getting went your head.
What's that?
To Chelsea.
Oh, did they? Scratch it.
Cheers for that. Cheers for that, mate. Cheers for
that. Do you know why I want Leicester to win it? Because Celtic fans will hate it.
That's true. That is true. No, I just think Leicester, they can't beat big teams. That's been proved. They've been beat at Chelsea. They can't beat top 4, top 6 contenders. They just can't. That's how they fell out of the Champions League last year.
I would probably say Liverpool.
I'm going Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool will still have enough. I think Spurs will fall away. They play the night.
I would like. I see as much. I don't like
Spurs and Liverpool play the night.
I don't really like Spurs, but I would love for Jose Mourinho to win it.
Oh mate, I see watching that documentary. Did you like that documentary?
See, I never used to like Jose Mourinho just based on what I've seen, and then that documentary made me fall in love with him. See the way he is and the way he treats players and stuff, like the Harry Kane situation where he's like, go home and spend time with your family and stuff. See just the personality he's got, and these banter in the press conferences are brilliant.
See, when you look at the way that the media portrays him and Pep Guardiola as well, they hold Pep Guardiola up to be this unbelievable guy, right? And then they criticise Jose Mourinho at every opportunity. I personally believe anyway. But see, when you watch the Man City documentary and you watch the Jose documentary, it's like what you've been told by the media, it's almost like the opposite.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? And Pep's an unbelievable coach and he's done well in that and he's improved players. But see, the relationship Jose Mourinho has with his players, And I don't know, maybe he's went into the Spurs job and thought this is another massive opportunity for me. I need to adapt, need to change. I don't know what he's like at Chelsea. I've heard stories with John Terry saying, but that's like a mindset thing as well. So I'll tell the story. John Terry said he'd done something in a game or something like that, or he was missing a game, and he was on the treatment table, and Hosey's came in and just blanked him. Just said, how long? Just blanked him. Didn't talk to him for like 3 days. And that's a mindset thing. John Terry's thought to himself. Exactly. John Terry wants to do that, and maybe that's what players like Pogba and all that struggled with at Man United. They couldn't get themselves. Exactly. Too much ego, too much thinking I'm the man and all that sort of stuff. One thing might be controversial as well. I don't think that maybe the elite players, right? But I think that a manager should be there and thereabouts when it comes to salary with the players in the team.
Aye, I agree.
Because you look at it and then you look at Pogba, right? He's on all sorts at Man United, and it looks like at times he thinks he's bigger than everybody there. So I think there's got to be a lot done in terms of that. I
would agree with that. I think see the Mourinho thing. For me, like I'm not a big fan of Tottenham. The players, I'm not a big fan of Dele Alli. I'm not a big fan of Harry Kane. Just I don't know what it is.
See, I'm not a big fan of Dele Alli, but I do like Harry Kane. I like Son and all that. I like the players.
I think Harry Kane's a good player, but there's it's a whole other story again. Where like just there's things about him I just don't like. I like Son a wee bit, but just as a team, I think they're quite arrogant. But see if they won the league, I'll take my hat off and say you can be arrogant. You've won the league, but I want to win it for Jose for it more than anything else. Because see the smugness.
I think they're the favourites now.
They probably are.
And it's a massive game tonight with Liverpool. I think Liverpool win 2 or 3 0.
I think Liverpool might edge it, but I would love to see Jose Mourinho's face.
Oh mate, to be fair, a knee slide for Jose.
See all this and all that. I used to hate that, and see now I look back on it, I'm like, that's pretty good.
But that'll do us then for this episode.
Yeah, I think Harry Kane does when he bags out players. Should he get punished for that?
Oh aye, that thing that Harry Kane does, that's borderline assault, mate.
What a shout,
attempted murder, man. That is terrible.
I was talking to my roommate about this. That is borderline.
That is dangerous.
That's very dangerous. Man. See the thing that gets me. It's not the fact that he backs into him. He goes like this.
He looks at him, aye.
Right.
It's worse than the Morelos match.
The compliance officer should be getting a phone.
Aye, Claire White. Yeah, whatever your name is, you come down here and you take care.
But, what a shout, by the way.
That's some shout. That's some shout for the camera. But anyway, that is going to do us for this episode of the Nay First Touch podcast. Hope you have enjoyed it here in this different environment. But buzzing to get Kirsten back.
Aye.
We send our best to her. Hopefully she's doing well. Hopefully everything's sound.
Will there be one before Christmas?
Oh, aye, next week.
Next week before what day is Christmas next week?
We need to take another mortgage out in this place for next week. You know what I mean? But that's going to do us for this episode.
Man, I liked it. Bit different. Obviously, getting to see each other has been a bit no pixelated.
That's probably the worst part for me.
Oh really?
Having to see you.
All right, nice one.
Kidding on. Yeah,
on that note.
We'll see you later.